months to as high as 3 years or sometimes more. We've now instituted a system where we for the vast majority of spousal sponsorship cases, the processing time is down to 12 months or less. What we do right and how we can improve, because unlike previous governments, we have stated time and time again that in our communities. And for those individuals, because they travel, because they have other needs for identification, they rely on permanent residence cards. Renewing PR cards in the past, before we got into government, used to take between 10 months to 18 months just to renew a PR card. It now takes 52 days. That's because of the work that we did. And we're not satisfied with that. We're aiming for 14 days or even less. Since the overall inventory for parents and grandparents, for example, when we came in, it was 70,000 cases. It's now down to 30,000, and we have a plan to make sure that we eliminate these backlogs in a very short period of time. The same goes for caregivers. Caregivers with processing times and PSR processing times ballooned under the previous government. They didn't have a plan to sort of increase allocations to process both the backlogs and the incoming cases. We have a plan in place, and that plan is progressing adequately. For example, in the PSR program, we inherited a backlog of 47,000 cases. We're now down to 21,000, and hopefully by the end of next year, we'll be able to clear everything. And processing times will consequently improve to 12 months or less for any new cases after that. But this is not just a question of processing times, it's also a question of having a focus on client service. One of the key things in my mandate letter is to make sure that people come out pleasantly treated when they interact with the immigration system. Whether it is simplifying the forms, whether it is having a better website that is more navigable, whether it is improving the 1-800 number, which we have. The 1-800 number now, people will stay longer with you on the phone, and they will actually talk a little bit more and be more patient with you with respect to your case. And the messaging has changed from focusing on weeding out those who will make harassing calls to a more welcoming message saying, how can I help you more? And we're finding that throughout our surveys that people are very much happy with that change. And the frustration levels are much lower, and because of that, there's less return calls. People don't have to make as many repeat calls to get an answer. They're more likely to get an answer on that first call. You know our record on refugees. We've been very progressive. We came in and brought in over 40,000 Syrian refugees and other refugees as well. Last year we brought in 46,000 refugees. 6,000 of those were from other parts of the world. This year the focus is to continue to process the Syrian refugees who are in the pipeline, but also focus on other parts of the world, folks who have been patiently waiting in line, and make sure that we not only respond to the humanitarian need out there, but to also offer leadership on a global scale to work with other countries that have traditionally not received refugees and share our ability to do so in a very cohesive manner for our society. And countries like Brazil, Argentina, Chile, even the United Kingdom are coming to us to learn about our private sponsorship of refugees. The UAE, which is not a traditional refugee receiving country, came to engage with us in Ottawa, and they've now committed to receiving 15,000 refugees. We have a very aggressive economic immigration program. We want people to come and work in Canada because we need them. It's just that simple. We have a skills shortage in a lot of different industries. Businesses are telling us that in addition to the Canadian output from schools and other training institutions, it's not enough. They need skilled immigrants, people with talent to come and fill that skills shortage. And it's not just a problem for large cities. Even if you go to smaller communities, there is that skills shortage. So in Guelph, Ontario, for example, there's a skills shortage today of 3,600 highly skilled workers that they need today, that they can't get fast enough or large enough. So our immigration system has to meet that need, otherwise companies that are job creating for Canadians cannot either sustain themselves or even grow without that injection of labor. And so with that in mind, we have continuously made changes to the Express Entry program to make it easier for people to apply under that program, to balance it out to make sure that international students, for example, get more points so that they are treated more fairly. We have recently announced additional points for Express Entry applicants who have siblings in Canada, because we recognize that when you have family support in Canada, your integration outcomes are much better. We've also introduced the Global Skills Strategy. This is a program that came directly from businesses who told us that they were having difficulties bringing highly skilled labor temporarily to Canada so that they can improve those businesses and create jobs for Canadians. We responded to the Global Skills Strategy, which aims to bring temporary skilled workers here and process their work permits and LMIs in 10 days or less. And as part of that, we haven't forgotten the academics. If you're coming to Canada to do research at an accredited institution or university, we will exempt you from getting a work permit for up to 120 days. And that is again to stimulate our research ecosystem and take advantage of all those researchers and all those skilled people who are looking to go somewhere. Because there is a global race for talent. If you don't take those people, they'll go to other countries, like Australia. We have the Atlantic Immigration Program, which addresses the particular severe needs of Atlantic Canada with respect to their declining demographics as well as their challenges with respect to attracting skilled immigrants. And under that program, it impacts skilled workers from the intermediate range to high school, and it exempts employers from having to do an LMI. In exchange for that, employers commit to not only helping that skilled immigrant land, but also assist their families integrating into their community. So it's a way to retain skilled immigrants in Canada, in Eastern Canada, because their problem hasn't been so much attracting skilled immigrants, but keeping them there because they end up moving to Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. So on that point, I just wanted to end and open the floor to questions and answers. But before I do that, I just wanted to again emphasize the point that we've been out there talking to everyone, making sure that we get feedback from Canadians. If you're not able to get your feedback in today, you can do it online under consultations with an S at cic.gc.ca, consultations at cic.gc.ca, and we're more than happy to do that. We are also in the process of making sure that we dramatically reduce and eliminate the legacy refugee backlog. We have a team in place, we have the funding in place, and I'm assured that, that those cases will be done in less than 2 years. We have a plan in place to make sure that we also address the backlog of the asylum system through a third-party review of overall how the IRB works, which may include more resources for the IRB. So on that note, I want to thank you for giving me your time. I'm happy, and I'll try to stay as long as possible to answer as many questions as possible. Thank you very much.
One of the questions had to do with a gentleman named Jaya concerning religious visits by particularly Sri Lanka and India, particularly with respect to religious visitors. So he felt that the system was a little biased.
Thank you. That's a good point. We need to make sure that we respond to those kinds of concerns. So we have two ways to address that. One is when those kinds of cases come up. First of all, if you expect challenges with those kinds of cases, politely advise them to apply early so that if anything comes up, we can deal with that with the department without it being too close to their arrival date. But sometimes that can be helpful. Sometimes things are last minute, and in those cases, working with your members of parliament, depending on the circumstances of the case, we're more than happy to intervene and issue a temporary resident permit. so that that person can get here and perform that really important community service. But again, tell them to apply early and work with your members of parliament so that we can resolve any issues early enough. And a lot of times we can go back to the department and say, look, this is an important person coming to the community to perform community service. They have a track record of travel. They will go back, we know the community, and so could you re-examine the file? And if all fails, then we're going to intervene with respect to, and through work with your members of parliament. And I do that quite often.
Thank you, Minister. Fatima was concerned. She's been a citizen for 12 years. She's sponsoring a spouse in Jordan. She's very concerned about the processing time. At this point, 27 months. And she said that for 18 months, nobody had actually worked on the file. I was followed up by a mother whose name I didn't get, a refugee from Iraq. And the wait times are so long that the parties actually got divorced. And that was followed up by, well, those are the two spousal concerns that we have heard over and over again.
Thank you. Really important question. I just want to start off by saying that our biggest priority in immigration, one of our biggest priorities is to reunite families. We don't want to keep families apart unnecessarily. And therefore, whatever we can do to make sure that, first of all, the overall processing times have come down in spousal. There are particular missions out there that have longer processing times. Part of the reason is because they say it's because of security and the complexities of the region. Other times it's because they're taking a much heavier workload because some missions were closed. So, for example, we don't have Syria anymore, so everything's processed through Turkey. The same goes for Iran, so a lot of the Iranian clients have to either send their information to Turkey or travel there, back and forth, not just to hand the application to the visa application center, but even when their visa becomes available, they have to physically go there and present their passport. And that lengthens the processing times. In terms of the spousal, I can't comment on specific cases because sometimes, or in a minority of cases, security delays things. And that is not within the immigration department, that's within public safety. But whatever we can do generally within specific missions to reduce those processing times, I'm committed to doing that. I have traveled to Jordan, I've visited the Amman office. They're well staffed, they're trying really hard, they've made some improvements, but they have a long way to go.
Three sort of miscellaneous questions. One from Denise, who's concerned about post-immigration employment. She wanted to know what programs might be available. Second has to do from Khalid, who is concerned that about agricultural immigrants. He feels that there's a lot of people who have agricultural backgrounds and they are not necessarily well recognized in the labor system. And the third is from John, who comes from, and I didn't get the country, and is concerned about his boys back in the country, the refugee, the Congo, from the Congo, and the refugee processing time for his three boys is excessively long.
Okay. In terms of the agricultural folks, yes, we need to do a better job at harnessing the skills of immigrants. There is a program in place, an understanding between, for example, and this is not a government of Canada initiative, it's done between the region of Peel and the community of St. Thomas. And what they've done is they've told Peel region, any newcomers that you have who have an agricultural background and who would like to practice farming, could you refer them to us? And those who land in St. Thomas would like to live in a more urban community here. So they have that agreement between themselves. And that's an example of the kind of agreements that are already in place in communities to facilitate farmers. So St. Thomas is committing to welcoming those farmers because they need them. They need them to farm in those communities and revitalize their schools, their neighborhoods. So I would encourage that community, for example, look at that program. We don't have a federal program to manage farmers with with communities. But we do have the probation nominee program, and provinces have the flexibility to nominate, farmers, for example, if they have a particular need in that province. And that program is flexible for that particular reason. On the skills recognition, this is something that we've heard so often, and we have taken action. So as part of Budget 2017, it was announced, there was a new program that was announced that is particularly targeted to those individuals who have skills, who come to Canada but can't practice them, so that credentials recognition, and also the transition to the profession. Because sometimes your credentials are recognized, but the second phase is how do you crack that job market, that professional market, especially if you're not part of that network. So as part of that, we've committed $27.5 million under a new strategy for targeted employment strategy for newcomers. That money will go towards loans, for example, for those people. So a lot of times, skilled immigrants come to Canada, they want to be that doctor or that electrician or that nurse, but there's a barrier because the exams cost a lot of money, the application fees cost a lot of money. While they're trying to study, they're not making an income and they have to support their families. So under that $27.5 million, it's meant to assist them to, enable them to live while they study, enable them to pay for those application fees, to buy those books, and to pay for the exam. And under that program, there's also money put in for paid internships so that those folks, even after the credentials recognition, can get Canadian work experience. And finally, there's mentorship money in there, there's job matching money, and most importantly, there's an expansion of pre-arrival services, immigration pre-arrival services, so that that engineer, that doctor, that electrician can get the pre-arrival services before they even get to Canada. We're investing money in them to make sure that they know what is required for those credential transition, and that they can start that process before they even come to Canada, so that it shortens the time period that they have to wait before they practice in their field right here in Canada. And I've already seen individuals who are benefiting from those programs. So I would encourage them to look at that. It's called the Targeted Employment Strategy for Newcomers. There's real money in there. There's organizations that are being funded, and there's loans that go directly to the person so that they can study to become that doctor, that dentist, that nurse, right here in Canada.
There's one question about the Hong. Yes, it's very specific to him.
I would say for specific questions like that on specific cases, I'm more than happy to have my staff and also my colleagues, their staff are all here. They're happy to take that information and pass it over to us so that we can see what we can do in our office. But I don't want to go into that particular case publicly.
Thank you. And there was one more question, but my notes are so poor. I'm going to ask that lady to talk to us afterwards, and maybe over the course of the evening, your answer will get cleared up. Minister, you are extraordinarily often, as you can see. And so Chelios is going to have to be ruthless. So I'm going to invite whomever. Is this lady with the sunglasses you first? Oh, okay.
Before we start the questions, I want to talk about two things that we've delivered, that we promised to deliver, which was causing real pain in the community. One was lowering the age of dependence. That was done by the previous government. It kept families apart, it dislocated families, and children were not able to join their families. So the age of dependence was lowered to 19 years of age. That caused a lot of hardship. We promised to revisit that, and we've delivered. So now the age of dependence is back to 22, and that will ensure that a lot of more children will reunite to their families and come to Canada together as a family. The second thing that we've done, and we campaigned on that, it was a key campaign commitment that we promised, was that we were going to turn back all those barriers that were put in front of permanent residents on their way to citizenship by Bill C-24. We said that if we got elected, we will eliminate those barriers and become more facilitating. Instead of putting barriers in place, we want more people to be considered. So I'm happy to share with you that a few weeks ago, Bill C6 is now law. And therefore, we fulfilled our campaign commitment that said a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. Bill C24 introduced a dangerous concept, which was two-tier citizenship, introducing classes of citizenship in this country. We fought against that, and Bill C6 restores equality for all Canadians. Bill C6 brings back the residency requirement from 4 years out of 6 to 3 years out of 5, the way it was. It makes it more flexible for people to gather those 3 years. It reduces the age range on the language and the citizenship test, the way it was, 18 to 54, not 14 to 64, which created a hardship for some young applicants and some older applicants, as was done by the previous government. And so I'm very proud of the fact that we delivered, and we heard a lot of noise and a lot of complaints and a lot of concern about C24. I hope we can hear a lot of joy and a lot of happiness about Bill C6.
So we're going to resume questioning, but a couple of things I want to draw to your attention. Minister, do you want to sit and answer questions or stand and answer questions?
I can.
Okay, thank you. So you now have less time to ask a question. It is now reduced to 1 minute for obvious reasons. So Chalice is going to hold up the yellow, am I correct, will be 60 seconds. And the red will be 45. Is that correct? Sorry. The other way around.
Yellow will be 45 and the red will be 60.
Okay. So you have to look at the minister and ask the question and look at the card at the same time. That's the trick. Secondly, we do want to reiterate again, we do have some prominent translation services here in Hindi, Urdu, Cantonese, Mandarin, Tamil. And if you wish English, I can do that. So, we'll start on this side.
My name is David Cardozo. So I'll make this quick. So basically, my family and I, we arrived in Canada in 2008. And we had a hearing 4 years after that, 2012, which is also when we applied for the hearing, an appeal, and it was accepted. We've been waiting since 2012. I came here when I was 12. I'm going to turn 22 later this year. So it's close to 10 years. Obviously, after high school, I was not able to go to post-secondary. So I've been working really hard, supporting my family, and I don't want that same thing to happen to my siblings. They practically grew up here. They got here, one was 3, the other one was 6. They've been here practically all their life. And I'm just wondering how long we're going to be in this situation. And every day I wake up thinking, what's going to happen? When can I join my friends? When can I blend in? When can my life start? So that's pretty much it.
So we're going to take 5 questions, and the minister will attempt to answer the 5 together, just so we can get most of the answers. Okay? So, excited? Thank you.
My name is Miguel Trejo. I'm from Venezuela. I'm a refugee claimant known as Legacy Claims. I made the claim on 2012. Every year, the struggle is more. I'm not able to move forward with profession, not even work. I get the same answer whenever I get offered a new promotion or a new job offer. The same question, the same answer I get is, we don't want to invest in somebody we don't know what to say. I've had offers from the OBB, I've had offers for different other jobs. I'm currently working as a truck driver. I'm formerly a lawyer and engineer. And one thing that really worries me is that we have a son that was born here in Canada and he's being treated as a second-class citizen. He does not receive any kind of child care support or child tax benefits because his parents are not residents. And the brown paper expired this month.
It's an honor to talk to you. My name is Honourable Hussen. I'm a legacy claim refugee. I was here in 2012. I graduated college with a 4.0. I got offered to work on the computing project on Waterloo University, and I could never proceed because of the tuition. As you know, that legacy name titles pay international fees. We don't have an income here. We're not on government assistance. We don't have child benefits. So I don't know what do we do, or what we're supposed to do for the past 6 years. Just sit and wait for the government relief. Also, another thing, we are issued a paper. The paper is expired. IRB keep telling us this paper never expires. Okay, but bankings don't understand that the expiry date on that paper is valid. We cannot have banking, we cannot have a driver's license. Our life is
For this wonderful opportunity, Honourable Minister, thank you very much. Honourable MPs, thank you. I am Sadiq from Samaz Riding. So there is some hearsay, Karnataka citizenship. So I heard that previously there was a rule and the judges were to decide intention to live in Canada. If the family is living in Canada as a permanent resident or even as Canadian national, and the male member cannot get the job and goes back to his back country to get some funds instead of going to some social help or something like that. He is living abroad out of Canada. Still, the judges were able to give him citizenship. So, is there any chance right now, for example, my kids and my family is here, they are Canadian citizens, but I'm going back to my country to get some fund for that?
Merci, Honorable. Je m'appelle Madame Joseph Ilonou. Thank you, Honorable. My name is Madame Joseph from RDC. I'm sick, just malade. Why? Because I have kidney problem. And I don't like to lose my kidney. Je ne vais pas simplement rien encore. Why? Because it's take long time. I know why. But I applied. I pass exam, I pass interview, we send passport, it take long time. Honorable Blair, the assistant, helped me very, very well. But it take long time. Ça prend beaucoup de temps. That is my file. I sent everything. But why?
Citizenship case?
No, I sponsor my wife. Now, the passport in Senegal. Why it take long time? Leave out of this country is not good. I don't like losing in my kidney. I think this, if you will call them, honorable, vraiment, fais-moi plaisir, ça me fera plaisir, honorable.
Okay, so I will answer the questions now. I have 5 questions. 3 are on IRB backlogs and legacy refugees. 1 is on intent to reside, and the other one is a spousal case. On the spousal, like I said, our priority is to reunite families. I'm sorry that you're away from your spouse, and our general principle is to reunite families. I don't know the particulars of the case to be able to comment. What I can tell you is that through your member of parliament, have them take your documentation, get authorization from you to speak on your behalf. My office is more than happy to work with your local member of parliament for your individual case. On the intent to reside question, that's very easy. You'll see 6 removes. The intent to reside created a lot of confusion and concern in communities because it almost was saying, we'll allow you to become a Canadian citizen if you promise not to travel outside of Canada. And we thought that was unconstitutional and illegal and uncalled for. And to remove that confusion and concern, we eliminated that with Bill C6, so you don't have to worry about that. In terms of the legacy refugees, prior to becoming the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, I raised the issue of legacy refugees. So did Gary, Aaron, and many other members of Parliament. This is an issue that we raised with the previous Minister of Immigration. the Honourable John McCarthy, and we said that the issue of legacy refugees must be fixed. I'm happy to report to you that on the issue of legacy refugees, we were able to work very closely with the IRB to tackle this issue. They've done two things which leave me confident that they will eliminate that backlog on the legacy refugees. One is they've put together a team, a legacy refugee task force, to just do nothing but legacy refugee cases. The second, in order to resource that team, they found some money that has been able to, within the IRB, they've reallocated resources, taken that money and put it to the legacy refugee task force, and that legacy refugee task force is responsible for doing two things. One, they will go through the 5,600 cases and eliminate anyone who has either withdrawn their claim or has been regularized through other means. The people in that backlog who have, for example, become regularized by marrying someone through a spousal sponsorship or through other means. So they'll eliminate those withdrawn cases and spousal cases, and then the remaining cases, whatever that is, will probably be less than the 5,000. They will then tackle them on a first-come, first-served basis, and they will give us an update on the progress of those files. And what they're telling us is that based on the way the task force is funded and their track record, the legacy cases should be eliminated in less than 2 years. So we see light at the end of the tunnel. I know you've been waiting for a long time, but we have a plan in place, and legacy refugee issue will be solved. In terms of the general IRB backlogs, Canada is susceptible to migration patterns just like any other country in the world. Between January and this month of 2017, Italy has received 64,000 people who have arrived by boat. The United States receives 46,000 people who cross their southern border every month. So I'm just pointing those numbers out to put everything into context. Germany had 950,000 people cross their borders in 2015. We're not different in the sense that we're susceptible to those global migration patterns, but our numbers are comparatively smaller. But this year we're tracking higher numbers in terms of the asylum, inland asylum claims. That has put some pressure on the IRB, and in order to deal with that proactively, we have struck a third-party review of the IRB's needs, whether it's resources, but even how they do business. How can they be more efficient? How can we empower the IRB system to hear more cases and process more people faster so that people's cases can be settled? So that work is ongoing, and both the Legacy Task Force and the IRB third-party review are ongoing. So those are my answers. We can proceed.